Matt Brown there in Jerusalem. Australia has long had a love affair with cars, but is it starting to change? Generation Y and younger people are turning away from car ownership, and although generally we have more cars than ever before, we're driving them less. Mike Clay takes a look at whether we've hit peak car.
Australia, what's your favourite sport?
Football.
Snack?
Pies.
Animal?
Kangaroos.
And what's your favourite car, Australia?
Holden.
Ford. It's a whole new thing. It's what's happening.
Whether you're a Ford or Holden person or somewhere in between, Australians love their cars.
It's not a hobby, it's a passion.
I don't go to the pub too often, I don't drink, don't gamble. It is a way of life.
A motoring enthusiast shares the balance of power in the Senate, and Australian cinema has traded on our love of cars.
Oh my God, look what you did to my car, mate.
Relax, it's just a tail light.
Relax. Mate, that's a 69 Valiant Pacer, do you understand?
Baby, you can drive my car.
Australians are very, very passionate about their vehicles. Australia has one of the highest per capita take-up rate of performance vehicles in the world.
No generation was more passionate than the baby boomers.
To them, the car was a status symbol. It was something to run out and get as soon as you could and talk to your friends about.
I think for my parents' generation, they weren't allowed to have sex before marriage, so they could have sex in the back of a car as this sort of freedom machine.
In 1920s Australia, there was one car for every 55 people. But the post-war period saw car numbers double every 10 years. By the 70s, there was one car for every 4 people. Today, it's doubled to one car for every 2 Australians.
Oh, Steve, could you move the Chimera? I need to get the Tirana out so I can get to the Commodore.
I'll have to get the keys to Cortina, but I'm going to move that Chimera.
But while the number of cars per person has risen, the number of new car sales per person has dropped sharply since the GFC. They're now at their lowest in 20 years. The question is, why? If the baby boomers were the generation that embraced the car, then it's Gen Y and the millennials that are responsible for its decline.
For the first time in recent history, young people are becoming less likely to go out and get a driver's license or get a car. They're becoming less likely to go straight into full-time work, marriage, mortgage, children, instead going to uni, maybe working part-time, traveling, and all of that means they have less need for a car, but also less money to pay for one.
My name's Marcus Costello, I'm 27 years old. I live in inner city Sydney. I get around on 2 wheels, not 4. Practically speaking, owning a car doesn't make sense if you live in the inner city. There's the cost of registration, there's the cost of fuel, the cost of parking. These costs add up, and I don't have to consider any of those.
In Victoria, the number of under 25s with a driver's licence has dropped 12 percentage points in just 10 years. That decline has also been seen in New South Wales and around the world.
It's happening in Australia, but it's also happening in America, Canada, the UK, and in a lot of Europe.
Some say that new technology like smartphones give young people the freedom that cars used to.
They're a real status symbol now, and in some ways replaced the car as a status symbol for younger people.
Tougher rules making it harder for young people to get a licence have also played a part.
But we know it's not the full story because this trend started before the change in graduated licensing.
And there's something else going on. The people who do own cars are actually driving them less. The trend even has a name. Experts are calling it peak car.
Peak car is a phenomenon that's been observed in a lot of the developed world where for the first time in recent history, people are becoming less likely to drive cars and drive them for shorter distances. It used to be every year people drove more and more. That's actually peaking and actually reducing in some countries.
Almost 2.5 million cars have joined our roads in the past decade, but the number of kilometres they're travelling has fallen 10%. Increasing congestion on city roads along with improved public transport has made going without a car easier, and car sharing is more common.
Car sharing gives you access to a whole fleet of cars by the hour. So instead of owning a car, you've got this tap of vehicles that you can use, and when you don't need one, you haven't got a car to worry about.
So few of my friends actually own cars. A few of us have Go-Get subscriptions, and the rest of us are always relying on those people.
In America in particular, car makers are starting to panic a little bit about this change. They're wondering why the next generation coming along isn't running out and buying their cars. In Australia, it's a little bit harder to tell.
Car makers like BMW are scrambling to respond, trialling corporate car sharing and introducing new models with a sales pitch aimed squarely at young buyers.
This vehicle's chock full of technology and will really appeal to a younger market who are very in touch with connectivity.
So is our love affair with the car coming to an end?
I don't think Australians are ever going to completely turn their back on the car. By the time young people get to the end of their 20s and into their 30s, most of them will have a car.
If a growing minority decide to dump the car, governments will have to deal with it.
You can just sit back and enjoy it and say, oh, great, you know, fewer driver's licenses, fewer cars on the road. Or you can take a more active approach and say, how do we facilitate this moving forward?
If you forecast out the drop in car ownership, the number of people without driver's licenses, there's clearly going to be growth for public transport and alternatives to the car.
Prime Minister Tony Abbott has pledged to build the roads of the 21st century. The question is, will today's drivers still need them tomorrow?
Baby, you can drive my